Joining us now to continue our conversation on the Vice President's trip to Central America is Lee Gallant, Deputy Director of the ACLU's Immigrants' Rights Project. Lee, it's good to have you back on the show. Let me play for you what Vice President Kamala Harris, some of what she had to say during her meeting with Guatemala's President Alejandro Giammattei earlier today. Watch.
Most people don't want to leave home. I know that, I believe that. Most people do not want to leave the place where they grew up, their grandmother, the place where they pray, the place where their language is spoken, where their culture is familiar. And when they do leave, it usually has to do with one of two reasons. Either because they are fleeing some harm, or because they simply cannot satisfy their basic needs by staying at home.
Lee, I spent some time in Guatemala reporting, as you very well known, as Carrie has highlighted. You're talking about institutional challenges, generational challenges to build the kind of wealth that is needed to keep people there. What more do you think the Biden administration needs to be doing to reduce the flow of migrants coming from Central America and dealing with those migrants who have already arrived here in the United States?
Right. I agree with the vice president that people do not want to leave their country if they don't have to. And so we ought to be working on root causes. Absolutely. But that's going to take time. But where I disagree and where I think the conversation has gone off track is the border is closed. Let's tell everyone the border is closed. The United States cannot tell people the border is closed to asylum seekers. If people are fleeing danger, the border must be open. That is the commitment we made after World War II. We have had that commitment along with the rest of the world. We have been a place where people can seek refuge. We cannot send a message that the border is closed to asylum seekers. And unfortunately, the Biden administration has closed the border to asylum seekers, continued the Trump administration policy of not letting families into the United States, even those with little children who are fleeing persecution and are desperate for a safe place. So we cannot continue to send a message that the border is not open. What we can say is, if you are in danger, you can come. If you are not in danger, then you may not be allowed into the country. But this idea that we should send a message the border is flatly closed is inhumane. It is in violation of our asylum laws. And we simply have to say, look, if you're in danger, you're going to come in. The government has to get rid of the Title 42 policy that the Trump administration implemented under the pretext that there's no safe way to bring asylum seekers in.
Okay, but do you think that that was the message she sent today? I mean, specifically in that moment that we played earlier in the show where she said, do not come, we will continue to enforce our laws along the southern border. Do you think that is the message that, and that's how it would be received by people who are in fact trying to seek asylum? Or how do you see the message where she said, do not come?
Right. So I didn't hear everything the vice president said. Based on the snippet and based on what I've heard the administration say previously, the message that I'm hearing is do not come regardless of whether you're in danger. And that would be consistent with the fact that the Biden administration now has a policy called the Title 42 policy that they've continued, unfortunately, from the Trump administration that expels people back without any hearing on asylum. It doesn't matter how much danger you're in, you do not get an asylum hearing. It is really troubling that the Biden administration has kept that. The ACLU and our partners have a lawsuit about that. We have to have the border open to asylum seekers. This would be a really troubling moment in our history if we continue the Trump administration policy of not allowing asylum seekers in. And I didn't hear any nuance of what the vice president said. The border is open if you're in danger.
All right. The ACLU's Lee Gallant, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it, as always.